Gengar and Clefable have, through trademarking and beta art, been proven to be some of the earliest Pokemon made. Coincidentally, they are also some of the first Pokemon when you list the original 151 by index number, with Gengar appearing shortly after Clefable. Also, Clefairy was originally going to be the mascot of Pokemon instead of Pikachu, so it was going to be a pretty important Pokemon. Gengar is known as the Shadow Pokemon, but what exactly is it a shadow of? Take a look at a picture of Clefable, and then one of Gengar. Their body shapes are almost exactly alike, with the only major difference being that Clefable has a curl for its hair and tail, while Gengar has spikes. However, the shadow of an upright spiral like Clefable's tail would only be a line, or a spike. Now look at their typings. One of normal type, and the other has ghost type. Due to their immunities, neither of them could have hit each other with stab attacks, since they'd be just immune to each other. Have you ever tried to hit your own shadow? Many articles across the internet have mentioned the same thing about this subject. These two Pokemon bear a striking resemblance. Even their weight is nearly identical, but no one seems to be asking the bigger question. How does a Gengar come to exist? The answer is much simpler than one would think. There are multiple instances in which Gengars are born. Either way, they are more or less an animated shadow of their happy counterpart. A doppelganger, to be exact. This German word can be defined as a paranormal double of a living person, typically representing evil or misfortune. Each instance is similar to that of a Clefable losing its innocence, and their shadow takes a life of its own. When a Gengar is born, the Clefable's memory of the horrible event is erased. This leaves many opportunities for a Clefable to essentially create a Gengar, should they experience multiple tragedies in their lifetime. In a way, Gengars are a way to preserve Clefable's innocence. This is the main reason that no one has ever come across an evil Clefable. Clefables are a loving Pokemon, making them popular companions for trainers all over the world. With so many of these trainers wandering, many some of them by themselves, save for their Pokemon, tragedy is bound to strike. Some become lost in the wilderness while traveling to a foreign area, or have life-threatening accidents. One way or another, they die. Their Pokemon are left alone to fend for themselves. Clefable's innocent mind can't handle such a loss. Gengar is born, and the Clefable forgets that it ever met the trainer. A wild Clefable obviously doesn't have this kind of bond. There are usually many other, perhaps less extreme situations that can spawn a Gengar, usually involving some kind of highly negative incident. For example, if survival becomes too difficult, a Clefable may slowly start to turn bad and act maliciously towards others of its kind to raise its odds. This can include stealing food, shelter, or any other kind of thievery, each time it begins to feel a strange sense of enjoyment from committing these acts. Once it reaches a certain level, such as murdering another Clefable, the shadow takes a life, and Clefable returns to its normal, harmless self. One thing is for sure. If you ever caught a Gengar, something terrible has happened to the Clefable that it came from. Perhaps it will be a good idea to keep that in mind the next time you decide to go after one.